Welcome back to SportsLine here on News Channel 5 Plus. If you've been with us since the top of the hour, we've been talking about the Titans and their OTA practice. The one practice this week that was open to members of the local media to come and check out. And of course, we told you about Treylon Burks getting through the practice. Robert Woods seeming like he's recovering nicely from his knee surgery. He's been out there, albeit on a limited basis. Head coach Mike Vrabel, obviously a lot of his big name star players or his longtime veterans opting to take advantage of the voluntary portion of these workouts, but still a good turnout and some good work done today at St. Thomas Sports Park. Here's head coach Mike Vrabel.
You've got so many starters coming back on defense in the offseason. What's the process of trying to, build on what you were able to do last year and improve, if possible, going into a new season?
Well, we always have to improve. We have to find ways to improve, and I think that when you look at a lot of the guys that have played for us over the last couple years, whether that be Kevin, Jeffrey, Harold, Amani, those guys have improved and they've played a lot of football for us, and that's I appreciate that on my end. That guys that are very good players and have been for us have continued to try to find ways to improve, and we'll continue to look at ways that we can help them with scheme and also to continue to work the details, the technique, and fundamentals.
When a guy like Harold has a career high, might it be something where you may not be able to improve on, say, sack totals, but other areas of the game, other facets?
Well, we're not really trying to focus on sack totals. I mean, I think that's great, our ability to affect the quarterback, and there's a lot of ways to do that. And I'm hopeful that the guys that we send and that are pressuring the quarterback can find ways to affect them. And so if the sacks come, great, but we have to affect the quarterback.
Each year it seems like you've had guys step up and become leaders of that defense. Coach Bowen had mentioned that David Long is really coming along. From your perspective, how is he as far as grabbing that mantle as one of the leaders?
Well, I think just his ability to be here to work and compete. David's a passionate player. I always appreciate that about him. I feel like our relationship has gotten better since, each and every year, and, try to harness some of that passion that he has. And, it's just been good to see him continue to grow in our scheme and an understanding of what's going on.
It looked like Treylon was more active, doing more things today than when we last saw him. Would that be accurate? And are you seeing signs of progress?
I don't really track, each and every guy's daily, I see the mileage, I see the speed, but I would imagine that that's consistent with everybody that's been out there, that, good speed, good workload. So, I'm not saying that it was just going to be more or less, but today there was good work.
Albert Breer said Monday morning quarterback, a lot of teams throughout the draft process were turned off of Treylon Burks' weight. How have you seen his conditioning kind of come along since he's come to Nashville?
Who said that?
Albert Breer.
We're excited to have Treylon. We feel good about each and every guy we draft. That's why we draft him. So, he's gotten better each day that he's been here. You can let Albert know.
Treylon did ask us to ask you if we're wondering about the inhaler. He said ask Braves about it. So, anything you can add, Braves?
No. I think that some guys need inhalers. Carter used one before, and his brother didn't. So I don't know. I just rely on the trainer and our medical staff to try to take care of these guys and communicate with me. But I do feel like everybody here has gotten in better shape, and especially coming off the long weekend.
How normal is it especially for a rookie, to come in this time of year and be a little behind in conditioning? Obviously, they hadn't played in a while.
Well, you just understand what the process that they go through as far as, getting ready for everything that they're training for as a speed-based measurement at the combine, short distance, explosion. And then we're asking them to come here and start performing some football that's done over the course of time that could be 6 or 8 seconds long. They go on visits, they go through a draft process, they go to a rookie premiere, which are all things that we know. And so we have to be a part of the solution to getting them ready to play football. And I think that's what we're doing here, and we'll continue to do it. It's why we keep them, 2 extra weeks after our veterans leave from veteran minicamp, and those guys can stay and really start to make some strides in conditioning.
You've got some changes in personnel, obviously. How much will the ideas of Tim Kelly also kind of influence where you head in the passing game?
I think that every coach that we bring in with the idea that they're going to be able to bring input, and that's something that I have to make sure stays consistent, whether that be Chase on special teams, Jim Schwartz, Tim Kelly, and anybody that we bring in. They have to, feel comfortable enough to have a voice in the meeting room. Ultimately, I make a decision, but Todd and Shane and Auk would do that, before I would, and then ultimately I can say, hey, I really like this, or, let's go in a different direction. I'm not trying to just explain it. When you leave a meeting room as a position coach, you have to feel comfortable that the ideas that you brought forward, were heard, they were talked through, and then ultimately, the coordinators or the head coach made a decision that was best for the team, and then you move on. And I think we've done that. I think everybody's tried to bring ideas, so I don't think that would be any different with Tim.
Just because there's no contact doesn't mean he can't make significant gains with his punch and his upper body. How much can a guy do on stuff like that off the field in the offseason, and how much do you expect him to gain between now and the start of camp in that department?
Well, I think, not having pads on, sometimes the targets aren't moving, and even in a jog through, you saw just with the little bit of addition to the third down that we had today, those guys aren't sitting ducks. They're not just going to stand there. They're going to move. They're going to go different places. They're going to run games, and I think that this was a good way for us to see some of that and then start to continue to rep some of that. That, it's easy to maybe get better at a stationary target, but we're going to have to really improve with movement and handling movement in games on third down.
What did you like about DeMarcus Walker that made you want to bring him here? Maybe what could his role potentially be?
Well, I think the role, Jim, he's showed versatility throughout his career. Liked him all the way back to Florida State when I was in Houston, trying to figure out where he may fit, whether that be standing up. He's played in multiple positions across the front, on the edge, inside. Plays with great, effort, which I, appreciated. He wanted to be here, and it's been really good so far.
Understanding that Petit Frere's only been here for 2.5 weeks or whatever, there's a long ways to go, but does he have a level of maturity that's sometimes unique for a guy his age coming in, and have you seen that so far?
I think the maturity, I think that's really hard to identify right now. I don't think that there's enough stress, on these guys physically with the rigors of training camp and, day after day. But I think that he's come in, he's worked hard, tried to study, take advantage of the opportunity that he's gotten. But, some of that stuff's hard to define until, there's a lot more in play with tickets and family and everything else that goes along with it. Right now, we're just trying to bring them along, and I think Chick and Mitch and Dr. Sheila all help on that maturity, with the rookie program and, what they can offer them after we get done with them here with football.
As things continue to develop for Dylan Radins, are you guys getting to a point where, you see him at a particular role as opposed to multiple ones?
I don't know right now. I mean, I think that he's been working predominantly at, right tackle, but, we'll kick in there inside based on, the rotation that Keith wants or who he wants to look at. And I don't think that right now is really the time. I think those guys are doing a lot of stuff together, and the jog through stuff really is toned down a little bit.
When guys have had footing issues at Nissan Stadium, you've made it about their shoe selection.
I've never once said a guy got hurt because of his shoe.
No, but you said guys need to choose their.
Come on now.
Okay, clarify what you said there. I'm wondering about some of the guys.
About a foot injury on a stadium?
No, I didn't say anything about injury. I've said when they slip, your indication has been it's not the turf.
Yeah. I mean, we just joke about having shoes that work.
Yeah.
But
are
also
your guys' shoes all broken out here? Because they seem to be falling quite a bit.
Sometimes you cut off the wrong foot. Sometimes the grass is slick. I don't know. We got 80 guys here working, and it's all the same condition. So, we got to stay on our feet, whether you're covering a kickoff, whether you're covering a punt and you're a gunner. Whether you're a wide receiver running a route, usually bad things happen. If a guy falls down on a kickoff, bad things happen. If a receiver falls down and he's getting the ball thrown to him, chances are, it's going to be intercepted. Offensive lineman slips, the quarterback gets sacked. Running back slips, fumbles the ball. So we got to stay on our feet.
Maybe differently from Dylan here during the off season as he gets ready for year 2.
All right, Mike Vrabel talking with the media, and what a surprise. A little back and forth between him and Paul Kaharski from Outkick 360. Didn't see that coming. As Titans OTAs, they'll continue this week and also next week, and then, of course, the week after will be the mandatory mini camp, and then they're left to their own devices for about a month and a half before they return in late July, early August for the start of training camp. All right. When we come back, we're going to tell you about a very, very special hockey event that's coming up that's going to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We got a special guest in studio to help us talk about it. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this. We're coming right back.